everybody, and welcome to Taff's Word. This is going to be a Taff's Word on football because, like I say, as I'm a Newport County supporter, there's not an awful lot of individual Newport County stuff going on at the moment, except they're doing a lot of good work in the community at the moment amidst the coronavirus crisis. So, I'm highly proud of them, and I am looking forward to this FIFA tournament that Leighton Orient started. Looking forward to seeing the lad, I forget his name, sorry, FIFA Eddie, I think it is. Part of Gareth Bale's FIFA team, representing Newport County for that. So looking forward to that. That'll be great, that will. But like I say, this is one on football in general, and it's quite obvious what it's going to be about. I mean, we're currently in a global crisis, the pandemic of the coronavirus. People are dying, people are getting badly ill, and it's an outbreak across the entire globe. I'm not going to talk too much about the actual virus itself. Obviously, it's the most awful of times. The world has gone completely upside down. It feels like it's been a lifetime of waiting to try and get through it. But, the worst is yet to come, I fear. But like I said, I'm not going to talk too much about the virus and the global crisis itself, because obviously this channel is predominantly a football channel. And although all sport has to take a back step while we deal with this situation at the moment, it's still going to be a very important part of people's lives when everybody does get their normal life back. When this crisis is over and life goes back to normal, football is going to be a big, important part of people's lives. So what I want to do now is give a bit of perspective and a bit of an idea of how to deal with it. Like I say, the Football League are meeting or Skype calling or conference calling like on a daily basis at the moment, trying to hit a target of returning the football back to its full status by April 30th. Personally, I think they're being a bit too ambitious there. I'm just going to basically come out with what my idea is, really. I think the Football League, I think FIFA itself, everybody within football has to turn around and say, now, there's going to be no football till the end of the summer. We're looking at the first weeks of September before we're going to bring football back. This way, they've got a nice, clear, long period of time to take a back step, stop worrying about football, worry more about the coronavirus, do what they need to do, let clubs do what they need to do to help their communities. At least everybody knows for certain. Well, it might not even be for certain, but it's going to be a lot more likely that we're going to, be in a position to resume football in September than what we currently are at the end of April. Personally, it's not going to go away that quick. I think it was something like 3 months that it took for China to get over it. Could have been longer than that. A lot of cases where we didn't even realise it. But then, going back to it, then football is going to need to resume at some point, because my point on the current season is they've played 75% of it. They cannot just ditch this season. And that's not me speaking as somebody who likes Liverpool, because I'm a Newport County supporter. How the season ends on a Newport County perspective doesn't really matter to me all that much. As someone who likes Liverpool, it does. But then as someone who likes football in general, and I don't want to see a long, prolonged sort of phase where football is under scrutiny from its senior bodies if they do cancel the season, considering the resolution of promotion, relegation, cup wins and all that stuff. So my point is, this season needs to be resumed at some point. Otherwise, you're going to get lawsuits from the likes of Sheffield United and Leicester, for example, who seriously have a shot at Champions League football. If they start the season from scratch next season, they'll be knocking on the door. There you go, we'll see you in court. We could well be in the Champions League. You should have resumed the season. We're missing out on all this revenue. Bang. They got a case. Of course they have. And then the same to be said for any team that's got a shot for promotion to the Premier League. Leeds and West Brom, obviously. And anyone within a mathematical shot of finishing in the playoffs to get into the Premier League, they're all going to be knocking at the Premier League's door with solicitors, with there's our lawsuit against you for ending the season. I mean, look at competitions that have already been awarded to teams. I mean, did Man City lose their League Cup? I mean, if you're going to wipe it all, you've got to wipe the whole lot. Or you can't say, oh yeah, but Man City already won that, so they should get to keep it. So sorry, if you're going to wipe a season, you have to wipe the lot. So Man City will be kicking off. And then teams from League One who could be getting promotion to the Championship, and then that goes all the way down to the very bottom of the pyramid then, throughout all of the non-league. Anyone with a shot promotion is going to kick off because they didn't get their promotion. Anyone who could get relegated are going to be delighted, of course, but then is it right that they just escape relegation on a technicality? Did Liverpool lose their league title on a technicality? Did Man City lose the opportunity, I think their best opportunity now, to win the Champions League on a technicality? It cannot. The season cannot be wiped. I can understand if it had only been a couple of months into it. The fact is we were a couple of months away from the conclusion of it. And if they end the season now, it will kick up a huge hornet's nest. So anyone who hates Liverpool enough to wish that this crisis gets worse, I think first of all you're a sad twat for putting people's lives underneath Liverpool not winning a title. I think it's quite pathetic personally, but you know, dark times bring out dark thoughts, I suppose. I suppose you could put it that way. You know, I mean, some people are just that desperate, I suppose. But anyway, what I'm saying now is we've hit this particular point of the season. Hold it until September. Resume the season then. Obviously, that's a target date that's more than just realistic. That is a target date that allows everything to calm down on the aftermath. Because, like I say, when this does start calming down, people are going to still be putting measures in place, making sure it doesn't re-accelerate and come back. So there's getting rid of it, and then there's making sure it doesn't come back. So you're going to need that period afterwards. And then, if it does go away, say by the end of July, teams have got August as a re-warming period, shall we say, to get back into playing the game. So then no one can have any excuses about, oh, but our players weren't fit. It's like, well, they could well have a month of being able to do some training. A few behind closed doors friendlies even. And then, hopefully, we'll be in a position where people can be in a social gathering again. Then you're going to wonder, right, okay, and so you resume the season then. It's going to be done by the end of November, start of December then, isn't it? Yeah, correct, yeah, that is going to be the case. So what do they do for the rest of what that season would have been? For me, the idea then is December will be a break. No Christmas football, which will be to the delight of managers such as Jurgen Klopp, of course, and anyone who doesn't want to spend too much, who wants to spend a bit more on their Christmas and a bit less on their football. Some people who pay for the football because it's become, you know, like it is with me with Newport County, like a lifestyle. You know, going to football is something that you just put the money aside for because you're just used to it. To have a Christmas-free, you know, have a football-free Christmas period could be something a little bit different maybe. But that's by the by. What I'm saying now is after Christmas is done and we're hitting into the new year, what do we do from then till May to fill in, you know, 5 months of no football? Well, my idea is a one-off competition with, well, the non-league will do its own thing in a similar type of style, but I think for the Football League is to break up the 92 teams in the Football League into, say, 10 different groups, shall we say. Say 10 groups would be 9, and then 2 would have 10 teams in it. And what I'm saying is to split up Premier League teams, Championship teams, League One and League Two into each of these 10 divisions. That way, all these teams are getting the opportunity to make a lot of money. Because like all the Premier League teams, people are going to have missed football that much. People are going to want that football feel again. That you're going to get people going. I mean, how you tailor it with ticket prices, etc., will be up to them. How the TV money will be divvied up, you know, that'll be completely up to them. What goes on TV and what doesn't, I mean, that'll be completely up to them. But I think that there is a special kind of one-off competition. You know, it could be like the coronavirus aftermath one-off league or something. I don't know what you'd call it. But my idea is you divvy all the teams up. So you could say, like, I'll give an example of a group of 10 teams. So you could get Liverpool and, I don't know, say Bournemouth from the Premier League in there. You could throw in Barnsley and Swansea from the Championship. You could have Fleetwood and Gillingham from League One, Newport County, and Port Vale from League Two. I mean, I know that it only makes up 8 teams, so to make that up, you'd throw in another League One and another League Two team, and then basically what you got there is a list of teams who would battle it out against each other, keep the players who they've got on contract now, extend everybody's contract for that year, and then you all play each other twice. So those League Two teams are getting the opportunity to go to Anfield and have Liverpool at their place. You can think of how much money that's going to generate for them. Anfield will fill anyway, and for teams like Bournemouth, people are just going to want their football anyway. So that there is a way, when it comes to the following season then, which would be the 2021-22 season, football gets back to normal and everybody's better off for it financially. Because like I said, the Premier League teams, obviously, they may not make as much Premier League money as they would do, but then who's really going to be transferring players and all this sort of stuff? I mean, at the end of the day, you've got to do something to fill that gap. At the end of the day, you've got to be realistic with when you can resume football. You've got to finish this season for the reasons I said, and then you've got to do something to make up that time. I mean, this isn't going to be a forever thing. This is just going to be a one-off competition where, say, the 10 divisions will have, I don't know, between it all, it would have, I'm just trying to think, 16 teams will go through into a playoff, which would probably be between April and May. Well, probably towards the end of April and then into May. A 16-team playoff, straight knockout to the final, and then you'll be, I don't know what you call the competition, but whoever wins, wins. And then, when everything starts again, everyone who's qualified for Europe and all that, qualify for the 21-22 season in Europe. That one-off competition is just a one-off competition. There's no future progression to be got from it. Obviously, the conclusion of the 19-20 season then kicks off onto the beginning of the 21-22 season, and that competition is just a gap filler that will potentially make a lot of money for smaller clubs. I mean, like my own Newport County, we could do with money. We could certainly do with our own stadium if we made enough money, from having Liverpool at Rodney Parade, and we got to have Sky TV doing the TV for it. I mean, it would generate a lot of money. I mean, it would generate a lot of money having, the teams from the Championship there would play Swansea. Cardiff could even be in a group as well. That would be fun. So we'd certainly make a lot of money. But the thing is, the teams at the top would certainly still make their money at the same time. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of fine details to get right, but it's there, throwing it out as an idea, just as something to, just to give a bit of perception on this whole thing. Just to give an idea of an alternative to see us by, keep us having our football, not giving up on this season, and then planning for the future. I don't know what you guys think of that. I mean, I might be talking complete and utter bollocks, but we got to fill that gap somehow. If it's going to be the way that I envisage it's going to be, that they're going to finish this season. They've said indefinitely. Whenever they've got to finish it, they're going to finish it. No one wants it delayed right up until this point next year. We don't want to take a year out. So let's put it at a realistic point, like September, and say this is what we're planning to do. And then that one-off competition will fill that gap. If there's like 10 teams, and if there's 10 teams in some of the groups and there's 9 in others, then you're looking at 18 or 16 games, which is more than doable from January to April, and then it's a straight knockout a round of 16, so then there's going to be a round of 16, then a quarter-final, then a semi-final, then a final. And then somebody gets a one-off trophy as we are the winners of the alternative competition. I don't know what you guys think. It could be complete and utter crap idea. It could be a good idea. I'd certainly like to know what you think in the comments below. If you like the video, give us a like, give us a share, subscribe as well. That would be great. And there's something else going on this channel at the moment. A very, very new thing. But I'm going to put a little bit of a video out about that anyway. I'm going to put an update on this channel. That's going to come after this one. So thanks for watching all. Cheerio for now. And as always, up the county. Many thanks for watching the latest content on the Amber Army channel. Please make sure you leave us a like. Make sure you subscribe for more content, both for the neutral football fan and also plenty of Newport County. Even more Newport County content can be found on the club's iFollow channel on the link above. It is just £4.49 per month to subscribe to that service. And those of you feeling extra generous can also support us on Patreon on the link at the bottom there. That would be a monthly donation of your choice. Thank you again, make sure you've subscribed, and as always, up the county.